North Carolina shut up the haters. They secured a quad two victory over the number five team in the Mountain West, San Diego State, by like 25 points at least. And a lot of people were puffing out their chests, which, they should. There was a lot of people preying on their downfall in that basketball game, and they dominated it from start to finish. It looked like two teams on two different playing levels. And there was a lot of conversations around like, oh, I told y'all North Carolina belongs here. Like this is y'all tried to keep us out. Bubba Cunningham was like, I tried to tell y'all, I told y'all, man, I told y'all. Uh, Jay Bilas said a quote on this, kind of talking about the situation. Um, what happens in the NCAA tournament doesn't validate your inclusion. Basically saying North Carolina could win a title. And Jay Bilas says they still didn't belong, which I love, by the way, for what it's worth. But I'll throw it over to you first, Dion. What are your thoughts on, as far as even outside of North Carolina, teams that get in that are maybe controversial? Do you think it validates them if they have a run in the NCAA tournament where they play well?
No, because we don't. You can't convince me West Virginia wouldn't have beat San Diego State too, right? Like that's the thing is you're gonna get a draw, like potentially that's favorable and go on a run. If they had to play Auburn, Florida, and Duke in the round of 64, round of 32, Sweet 16, they beat all three of them to get to the Elite Eight, sure. Like maybe we validate it. But just because you got a favorable draw doesn't validate a regular season award, right? Like I view your inclusion in the March Madness based upon your regular season resume. Beating San Diego State, another quad two victory, by the way. We're still waiting on them quad one victories. Congrats on another quad two victory. Doesn't validate your poor regular season. That'd be like Coop wins player of the year. Janai Broom hits for 70 on whoever they play today. Who they got Alabama State, I want to say.
I think I think they played Mount St. Mary's.
Mount St. Mary's, same thing. That's probably the same school. Janai Broom hits for 50 on Mount St. Mary's. Coop only hits for 25 against Norfolk. Actually, no, Coop plays Mount St. Mary's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Janai Broome plays.
Alabama
Janai Broome
State.
plays Alabama State.
Yeah, so Janai hits for 50 on Alabama State. Coop hits for 25 on Mount St. Mary's. That doesn't validate Janai winning National Player of the Year. That's a
Yeah.
regular season award based on what you did in the regular season. Whatever happens the next six games doesn't change how that award should go. And the same goes for the committee's decision to place North Carolina in the tournament. It was a poor decision. It would be different if it was like, hey, 2 months from now, we'll run it right back with West Virginia in place of North Carolina, and West Virginia gets stalled out by San Diego State, then yeah, sure, validated. But we have no idea what West Virginia would have done.
Yeah, no, honestly, I agree with Jay Billis in this case, and I agree with a lot of the things that you said. I don't think that it is validated because it's a body of work inclusion, right? The body of work is what should get you into the tournament. And quite frankly, North Carolina's body of work was not good enough. And they got lucky and they got into the tournament. They're still not a tournament team. All right. Honestly, I need Ole Miss to do the Lord's work and send these boys home. So we don't even have this conversation. But the point is that I don't think you can just go on a run and all of a sudden you're like, oh, that should have been a tournament team. I'm not saying you can't be in the playing game, but I think it is widely known, and the stats are out there. We don't even got to repeat them. We talked about it at nausea. The resume was not good enough to be a tournament team, also given who missed the tournament. So no matter what they do, they could go on a UConn type run right now, win every single game by 20 en route to cutting down the nets. That they were born on second base. I can't be third. They got to intentionally walk to first base probably to get to this spot. That's probably what it is. But
No,
yeah,
they
no, I agree with Jay Billis. I don't think that their inclusion would change. Their success in the tournament doesn't change their inclusion whatsoever. Is there any case like North Carolina's where we kind of look back or like maybe that team did belong? Maybe the team was on the bubble. North
I
Carolina shouldn't
think
have been on the bubble.
to me, the case is made better if you miss it. So I think about Georgia and the playoff Harbaugh on them one, where Georgia didn't make it in, and it's like, hey, maybe Georgia should have got in after you watch those first couple games. So I think the argument's better made where it's like, actually North Carolina missed it. West Virginia goes and gets smoked by San Diego State, and you're kind of like, well, maybe actually North Carolina was the team that should have been in there playing better basketball at the time. But I think when you make it, there's really nothing you can do because the other team, first off, is dismantled. And I have a conspiracy theory on all that. I have a conspiracy theory. If I find out Bubba knew what was about to go down, I got a conspiracy theory on all of that, by the way. All of that. But like, we have a whole team that's dismantled because of this decision. Like, there's no way you can convince me like one. And I am a West Virginia fan, so there's some bias there, of course. But there's not much North Carolina could do that could change my opinion on it. But if they do go on to win a couple games, like I would acknowledge that's a great tournament run for Hubert again. By the way,
Yeah, listen, the great Seth Rogen and Superbad once said, "People don't forget." That's how I feel about North Carolina getting into this tournament. But we'll see what their run looks like. I'm sure the conversation will still continue on as long as they are in the tournament, despite what the result is. But we'll see what happens as March Madness continues. It is March, and that means that March Madness is upon us. And if you are looking for a place to play, Underdog Fantasy has you covered. Sign up and deposit using code SLEEPERS, that's code SLEEPERS, to receive up to $1,000 in bonus credit plus a free pick. Head over to Underdog Fantasy today and use promo code SLEEPERS to take advantage of this amazing offer.